There you go, guys. More of an update. Got this scarred reasonably well there. I put a bit more of a skim coat over pieces where I'd repaired. The rest it's pretty good. Again, I've just put a little touch just in this back edge just to fix a couple little bits and pieces I just wasn't happy with. This has had just a very, very, very light smear. Again, just to fix a couple little pieces I wasn't happy with. Now, as you can see here, I've got the grill and the support panel and everything back in because I wanted to get the bonnet to lock down to make sure I did have all the gaps and everything good. I played around with that quite a bit sort of last night. I was out here till probably about 10 o'clock playing around with that, and I've got it fitting pretty good now. So just pop that and then unhook the safety latch that comes up. So that piece is fitting pretty good. That's not bolted back through here, but it's got the screws at the edge. So you just click that down and close, and it fits nice. So a wee bit of sanding to do on that guard. Same on this one. I've got quite a bit more filler in here, but like I'd done a one major coat after I'd put a little bit in there at earlier stages. So that's got a bit more of a skim in there, so I've got to finish sanding that off. A little bit at the bottom. It's been something hit it through here just lightly. At some point there was just a wee ripple through there. So I've got a wee bit of filler through that. Then it's just had another wee skim. A little bit on tops of the guards. A little bit in there where it's just had a little bit of a hump on it. Again, just a wee smear through here again. A bit more on the bottom of that guard. We've been repaired. Put a little bit of in the front of this door where I'd welded a wee patch in there. Just sort of what I had left over. And there was a couple of little minor dents in the front of that sill. So I put a little bit, wee bit down in there while I was down there. And I've given this door it's got a scuff back through here and through the major part of the door. It's pretty good. This back edge of the door was just a little bit, just had a wee wave in it. Wasn't bad. So I just put a wee smear of filler back through here just to, when you sanded it. Because initially when I sanded it off with the block, it wasn't catching this back edge just in spots. It was down a little bit, and I tapped it up a little bit, but I just put a wee skim of bog through there. Just needs a wee touch more there, and I've just blocked that back out. So that's pretty good. Like I think really just a little bit more in there. And by the time you put a few coats of high build on it and block it out, it'll be pretty good. There's a little bit more in there where I put that another patch in there. So just needs just a skim in there just to fill that back out. Whereas didn't quite have enough in there. But the rest of it really is pretty good. I may do a similar thing at this end. But what I'll do is I'll wait till I get it back on the car. I just want to double check the edges to make sure that that this here lines up all right with that door. I think it's not bad. And on this front door here, I was looking down there earlier, and it was sort of quite low, just through this bit. It was in quite a wee bit compared with the back door. So I went along with my hammer, and I just slowly keep tapping it out, and I got it pretty good. So again, just a little fine skim of filler on that back edge of that door. Once I do a wee bit more on this one, I'm trying to get these right first, but I pulled this off because I wanted to get the door hinges off so I can get some new pins made up through my brother, since he's an engineer. So it's something he can do in his lunchtime. Or over a couple of lunchtimes, he can whip me up some new pins and sort them out, and they'll be good as new. And then when I hang that door, like I can get it to hang right. I don't know if I can show you, not very easy with holding the camera and holding this bit. Yeah, you can sort of see that. It's not real slogged out, but there's quite a bit of movement in there, so over the length of the door, plus there's a little bit of movement in this too, like it's not quite as pronounced as the other one, like it's probably not that bad, but I'll get them to do both, and then they're all sorted out, and then when I go to hang that door, it's gonna hang good. And again, I'll once that's back on, I can check to make sure this is lining up nice with the other edge of the door, and because I want to make sure those edges are lining up pretty good. Like this edge here is not bad. Oh, this edge here is not bad, and the same with the other one. Like generally down there. So I want to, get into doing a little bit of work on this door, and across the bottom, because it needs quite a bit of filler in there, because that's where it's heavily damaged on this door. And I spent all that time trying to jack the bottom of that out. So again, I'll do a skim just down that back edge to make sure that really lines up, so it looks good. Now these gaps, aren't dead perfect from factory. They're sort of a little bit all over the place, and I'm not that confident with a welder to like go starting welding bits of weld down there, like run a bead along the edge and grind it off and get that real super perfect. So I'm not going to panic about that, but I want it to be nice that way. If it's a little bit wavy in there, that's factory, without getting super stupid. But so yeah, we're coming along all right. So that's about where we are at the moment. So really the front end's, like it's probably another, like a good general block black across most of these bits and pieces, and then they're all pretty much ready for primer. Hey mate. So yeah, like they're getting real close. Like I'm happy with this now. It only needs that wee touch sanded off in the back. So basically the bonnet's ready to go. And the only thing I need to do is I need to clean up a couple pieces up underneath. But I'm not going to get quite so fussy with that. But I'll tidy it up. And I'll put all the front inner guard pieces in here just to stop these guards from flexing around when I'm trying to sand. So like it's coming up quite good. And that's part of the reason why I put this piece in here too, so I could get that bonnet catch and everything in, so I could get it to close and make sure it's sitting nice and square. And because when I was closing it down on the bump stops on the front of the bonnet, I haven't actually touched those, so they were basically doing the right height. But when I was closing that bonnet, it was touching this one first, and then this one was sitting up. But when you lock that bonnet down, it sits nice and flat. So the only thing is this guard probably come forward just a smidge, but hey, that's a little bit of fiddling around when we're getting right into the nitty gritty. Like I've still got to do quite a bit of work under the bonnet yet, so the guards might come back off. But I'm just making sure everything looks good. These lines are pretty reasonable up through here. They're not super perfect, level with each other, but they're pretty close, and the same on that side. It's pretty close. Like I'm not going to get super pedantic, but it's like I'm pretty happy with it. And the same across that back edge. It's not super perfect, but generally like it's pretty good. Like it's going to be better than it was from factory. Or if not, as good as factory. It's probably going to be lined up better anyway, because it hasn't been sort of just half thrown together like they were. So we're coming along good. That door's going to take a much more. That's really, it's piss all on that one. A little bit more of a skin. Same with this door. I don't think there's much to do along that. It's a wee There's another wee dent in here, you know, and a little bit of filler, you know, just that wee skim bit in the back edge, you know. But, you know, I'll give it a general block back and we'll see. Oh, a little bit of filler along the bottom where it's had that wee scrape at some stage. So that'll flatten that back out again. But, you know, like these doors aren't going to take much to get right. It's probably that back one's probably the worst out of all of them. But yeah, we're not far away at all. So you once get these tidied up, yeah, we'll get a good coat on them. And I'll pull this back out and then we'll start working underneath the bonnet, because I want to. There's a few pieces in here I want to really sort of do quite a bit of work on. Sort of once I sort of get a bit more sort of organised in here. It's sort of been really the lack of sort of funds, you know, just with work sort of been so sporadic. You know, I've sort of been doing 40 hours and then 45, 50 and then back to 40. So like I haven't had a lot of extra sort of cash. But yeah, I want to get back into making these headers in bits and pieces like that. You know, I sort of want to get that finalised so I can get this back out of here to do sort of more final finishing work in here. Like these dints in here and spot welds, you know, I want to clean them up as good as I can, you know, along the tops of these guards in here, where that piece is like double skinned in there, obviously for a bit of extra strength or whatever it is. There's a join along there, so I want to put a good skim of bog on there just to make it look tidy it up really, because it's, you know, where it's spot welded, it's quite tumpy, hollowy. You want to smooth that out a bit, you know, and same on that side. Want to smooth that out a bit so it looks a bit tidier, a bit nicer. You know, I want to spend a wee bit of time, and I might try and dolly a little bit of this up just so it's tidier. You know, it's just things, bits and pieces like that. I want to make it look a bit nicer, you know. And also I'm thinking, this is where the front inner guard pieces that comes up and behind the headlight bucket and all that sort of stuff. Now this is a bit ugly. This is how they did it factory. Unfortunately, I wish they'd actually put these nut pieces on there, on the actual panel, and you put the bolts down. That would have looked nicer, because then it would have looked like this. And I'm contemplating doing that. I'm thinking about whipping these off and making it so I can do that. But I just need to. I want to look into see if I can get. You can get those nut certs. You know, look, they're like a sort of like a pop rivet type thing, but they've got there's different threads in them. I want to see if I can get some UNF ones, or not UNF, UNC. So because these are all Imperial course. So I want to get some. See if I can get some UNC ones, and see if I can put them through on that actual inner panel, so I can just put the bolts back down through there, and so it looks a bit tidier. You haven't got these, you know, funny ends sticking up. There's just a few funny little things like that, and then I want to go through and suss out where I'm going to put my MSD box and bits and pieces like that. So look, I want to set up some of that sort of stuff too, and I put in I might put in a couple of those nut certs for that to hold it down, and just bits and pieces like that, you know. That's a few other things I want to sort out before I do final painting here. So that's about where I am at the moment. So we'll carry on, do some more, and I'll get back to you again. There you go, guys. Another update for you. Right, just about finished these guards. A little bit to do on that. A little bit to do on that corner stool. A wee bit on the top of that. It's just still minor spots. I'm just getting right. This is just about sorted now. Just a couple little wee smears just to fix a couple of wee low spots. Same here. Not far away from down on the bottom. I just give it another just another light skim coat, just to get rid of the few last little bits and pieces I wasn't happy with. Now I've got all the doors off. This is the back door off the other side that had all this damage in here. It was punched in low. It's coming up not too bad actually. I've just given it another, basically a full skin, and that's the other back door. Give another full skim across the bottom, because it, I don't know if you've watched my earlier videos, but it had a small graze across the bottom, so I've skinned the bottom of it, plus we've repaired, plus it had some other small holes up there that I'd tidied up, so that's got a smear in there. The rest of it looks okay. And this is the front door off the side as well. I just took it off because it's a bit easier to work on, and I've done the same on the bottom of that, because it's again had a small gouge in here, been pushed in, so that's had a full skim as well. And it had just a little minor line in here where obviously something's been, like a car door's been opened on it or something, so I've just put a small skim in there, and hopefully that'll take the worst of that out. And the other front door is basically done. So that's sort of where I'm at the moment. Haven't really got a lot else to show you, but that's sort of where I'm at. And I've decided to, while we've got the doors off and everything, I'm going to blend all the seams and just tidy it up, and smooth out any where it's been spot welded. I'm just going to smooth all that out just around the doors and stuff, just to tidy it up a little. So I've just smeared a wee bit of filler in there, and there was a wee dent in there, obviously where the seat belts or something's got jammed in there at some stage, and put a wee dent in it. So I've started there because I had a little bit of filler left over, so I'll do all the rest of them as well, and on the other side. So that's about where we're at. Oh, and I put a little bit of filler on that other side on the roof. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll get back to you later on.